Hello everyone and welcome back to the week 15 of my Letterboxd diary. This week we are continuing on watching random movies because that's how I like it. Anyway, this intro is more than enough and let's just start with our first movie. The Silence of the Lambs is one of the movies for me where I know I watched it before but I don't remember anything about it. And weirdly enough, I've even read the book a couple of years ago and surprise surprise, I don't remember jack shit about that too. But for my experience this time around, I genuinely enjoyed it. The acting of Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins is without a doubt breathtaking. The subtle nervousness of Clarice when talking to Hannibal for the first time and the way Jodie Foster's mimics and body language adapted to that moment made me nervous too. That was both allowing Foster to showcase her acting talent and also makes Hannibal even more intimidating. I mean, Hopkins kills it in his role too. He gives off the impression of an animal that stays calm but always ready to attack. The film also dabbles with sub-themes like sexuality and the position of women in the working field. The first one, even though is more visible and talked about throughout the film, the second one feels more effective. Because it's mostly happening with people staring at Clarice or something that Hannibal is telling her elusively. I think these moments gives the audience a different feel to watch the film more carefully. To be honest, since its release, I don't know why, but I always assumed I wouldn't enjoy Aftersun. But I'm glad to say that I couldn't be more wrong. From the get-go, the film filled me with a sense of calmness and relaxation. Probably the biggest part of that, I think, is because it sets in a vacation spot in my home country. And it carries the exact kind of nostalgic vibe that reminds me of our own family vacations from back in the day. But the other reason for this was the great cinematography. Some of the angles captured in the film was mesmerizing, and some were actually pretty cool. If you remember, there is one scene in the film where Sophie films her father in their hotel room. But our camera angle only shows one small part of the mirror on the wall and the rest is the CRT TV in the room that's showing the displaying of what Sophie is shooting. The scene goes like this for a couple of minutes and I actually rewinded back several times just to admire the beauty of that composition. Other than these, the true meaning behind the movie was moving but also heartbreaking. It was a very subtle way of storytelling. You need to pay a lot more attention than normally, but it definitely pays off. With this aspect, the film also allowing you to form different theories too, which I find that very neat. Right after I finished the film, I thought myself I would definitely rewatch Aftersun in some point of time. I believe everyone who watched this only once should go back for it to relive the experience but with a clear knowledge on separating the illusion between good memories and reality. Okay, we didn't need this film like at all. I'm a huge fan of the first Alien movie and also the Prometheus and Covenant sequels. And coming from the last two, I was 100% sure that we will get the continuation of that storyline, directed by Ridley Scott of course. But not this. Not only Scott isn't directing the sequel, it is also an irrelevant side story only taking place in the same universe of the franchise. There were some homages to the previous movies, some shots were cool and I enjoyed them, but others like reviving a dead actor in the original movie and giving him an important but an unnecessary role was disturbing. It's not even like Rook and Ash are the same character, they are just the same line of synthetic humanoids. But also the amount of work they have to put into making Rook is seriously downgrading. Because they are trying to mimic an actor who is no longer with us, this makes the character looking like a broken animatronic, rather than looking like a realistic human-like synth like Andy or even David/Walter in the last two films. It also opens up a big ethical discussion for this project. You can ask any member of Ian Holmes' family, but still, you are not getting his consent to play this role. Besides these, the visuals and the acting were fine. I believe this was my first time seeing this younger cast in action and they did an okay job overall. Nothing too stand out, but not terrible either. Like the first original movie, the film leans into a show less, tell more angle with the use of xenomorphs. Obviously, we see them more fully and with a longer screen time in here than the original. But the amount of close-ups and out-of-focus movement of the aliens were a cool touch. And one last note, the hybrid alien at the end is both one of the scariest and the goofiest things I ever seen in my life. Iconic in the weirdest way possible. One of the most anticipated movies of 2025, and I happened to watch it on opening night. Did it deliver though? It absolutely did. One of the specific things Ryan Coogler did that intrigued me to watch it on opening night is showing his deep passion for quality filmmaking with this video. I love it when a creator gives this much of detail on how and why they decided to use specific things when they were making their movies. It adds a whole new layer to the film before you even watch it. If you are not familiar with Coogler's work, he directed both Black Panther movies, wrote and directed Fruitvale Station, which I am super curious to watch now, and maybe his favorite project of mine, right now after Sinners, the first Creed movie. The heart this man can bring to a project is undeniable, and Sinners definitely shows that too. Michael B. Jordan playing the Smokestack twins was super enjoyable. Jordan shows his acting range by playing the two very different sides of the same coin, but honestly, the supporting cast brings it just as hard. Especially Miles Catton's performance of playing Sammy was fantastic, and weirdly enough, by watching him you would assume this isn't his first rodeo, but it actually is. It was so impressive that not only this is his first time on the big screen, but he also sharing the lead and delivers an amazing performance. Haley Steinfeld, Delroy Lando, Wunmi Mosaku, and every single other actor on this project put their heart and soul to their role, and it's visible. Aside from acting, the story and its execution was on point too. It definitely feels like it's inspired by From Dusk Till Dawn. However, when that film feels a bit goofy in a good way with its plot twist, Coogler manages to turn a similar narrative twist into a well-balanced and genuinely tense horror experience. From the very beginning, the tension that's bubbling under the surface holds you and makes you build an anxious anticipation for it to finally come out. But there were one or two moments for me that didn't make much sense, so that's why I can say it's 10 out of 10. But with its incredible cinematography, perfect casting / acting, and having a well-balanced story with the addition of great cultural love letter moments, if you've seen it, you know which specific scene I'm talking about, Sinners is hands down my movie of the year, at least now. And that's it for this week. Watching a movie in a movie theater after a long time was a great breath of fresh air. I seriously missed it, but doing it with a movie that is much worth to watch it on an IMAX screen was the icing on the cake. These moments where I pick and choose what to watch in a movie theater rather than watching every new release in there makes it a bit more special to me and actually makes me love cinema even more. I hope to see you next week with another random movies episode, so that's that. Thank you so much for sticking until the end. Liking and subscribing is always much appreciated. I'm glad you're here. Bye.